Hey Zen fam! So, as a content creator, there's a couple of questions you always get asked as soon as you tell somebody that you're a YouTuber. One of the big questions you always get asked is, so how many subs do you have? To which you always have to respond, I have X amount of subs. And subs aren't actually the real true metric of how successful a YouTube channel is. That's actually to do with view duration, returning viewers, and yada yada yada. But that never always resonates with the general public. Then you say, so what kind of content do you make? Actually, say, what kind of videos do you make? Because nobody says content outside us lot. So they say, what kind of videos do you make? And you go, oh, I make gaming stuff. They say, oh, what do you play? It's always, what do you play? Because the large swath of people out there think that there's only one type of gaming content, where there's a lone person playing a video game and people are just watching them play the video game. They might talk along, but basically they're watching somebody play a video game. That's this very closed box. Now within gaming, there's lots of types of channels. There's people who show off their collections. There's people who show how they make their collections happen. There's people who do deep dives on particular game series. I could go on and on and on. There are a million different ways to talk about video games, especially here on YouTube. I myself, as you know in the Zen fam, I am a gaming culture YouTuber. Rants, reviews, news, views, unboxing, events, discussions, all that happiness. If it's gaming, the Zen bloke is there. And then when you tell them that you make gaming content, generally the next question out their face hole is, oh, what's your favourite game? And when you've been playing games as long as I have, and I've been playing video games on and off since I was like about at least 7 or 8, and I'm 49, so basically 40 years of video gaming history is in this noggin, then it's hard to really narrow it into one game. It's hard to narrow it down to one series. I mean, on Twitter you'll get people going like, name your favourite video game system. And I'm like, but my system that I have now is my favourite. And when I had my PS4 new, that was my favourite. And when I had my PS3 new, that was my favourite. Favourite is so subjective. But when it comes to favourites, we never talk about the other side of the coin. Do we? No. No one ever says to you, what's the one game you've played that was an absolute stinker? What was that one game that came along and you were dead excited to get it and it turned out to be a steaming turd? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what this video is about. The one game, I mean there's a few, but the one game that really sticks out in my mind as a game that was an absolute pile of cake. And for my other content creator friends out there, and other people who I've not met, if you stumble across this video and you're a content creator, I would love you to do a video response to this very video on your poop game. The game that you saw, I thought, I want a piece of that. And then you got it. And then you realised you'd wasted your money. For me, that game is, and a lot of you are not going to remember this game, and some of you might not even hear it. It's not Wonder Book. Oh no. It's not Mr. Puniverse on the Commodore 16. Oh no. It's not even the Superman game from the N64. Oh no. This is worse. Oh, this is epically worse. I'm going to talk to you, and this is as a PlayStation guy, iPet. Now, some of you are not going to remember iPet. Let me take you on a little journey. iPet was basically an augmented reality game on the PlayStation 3. You set up your PlayStation camera and you'd aim it more or less downwards. Not quite floor, but mostly floor. And you'd have this creature on screen, this furry little, not quite cat, not quite monkey, basically this small creature with a very, very expressive face and big expressive eyes and flowing fur, and you could change how the character looks a little bit, and basically you would interact, with the character by doing actions, not with the control, but with your hands. You could even do things like draw things on a piece of paper, show the piece of paper to the camera. The camera would then take that information, as long as you were drawing particular things it was set to understand, like a cartoon car, and then it would make that car in 3D, and your iPad would jump into the car and drive around on your floor. Yeah, in the trailer, that looked amazing. In real life, it was a hot mess. Oh my god. I remember at the point when I got iPad New and I wanted to try that particular bit of functionality, I drew like 20 different cars on 20 different bits of paper, copying the design from the launch video, line for line, angle for angle, then changing it slightly, and changing it slightly again, then changing it radically, then maybe thinking, okay, maybe I need to actually widen it out a little bit at the top because of keystoning effect. I tried everything. Would iPad get in that car? Would it turn that picture into a 3D object? No. It was glitchy, it didn't understand. You could pour, it was always like, oh, you need more light, you've not got enough light. So you'd get more light, and more light, and more light, and then it would go, oh, you're bleached out. It was horrific. I mean, no wonder that, like, the PlayStation VR didn't happen till PS4. Because as great as PlayStation 3 was, and the power that it had, and how awesome its little camera was, and the things it could do, like a Kung Fu Rider and stuff, and some of the other games that used augmented reality with PlayStation 3, and the fact that, like, the Move controllers worked so well for the time. Now Move controllers look rubbish, but back then they were actually really, really cool. And obviously they were a far greater device than the Wiimote. The Wiimote only having 4 of its original 8 actuators, and then you had to buy that little pack that you slotted onto the bottom of your Wiimote to give you those last 2 or 3 actuators, I think it was. So then you actually had the full amount of actuators to make the games actually work. And then you were just playing Wii Box and going, but enough of that. So the PlayStation 3 camera was basically the entire controller. You could do a little bit of stuff with your DualSense, DualShock, so it used to PS5. So you do a little bit of stuff with your DualShock, but mostly it was camera things, and you doing stuff with your hands. Like, you could run your hand over the floor, and iPad would jump over your hand, and you could command him to turn over, and you could pretend to, like, scratch his tummy and stuff. There wasn't really a lot of game in the game, but it was kind of just fun. And there was some missions and stuff, and there were some objectives. But I never got that far into it, because I spent like 2-3 days just trying to get this game to actually be a game and be functional. And eventually, I gave in. I was there launch day, I bought it day 1, I had it pre-ordered and everything. I took that puppy back to game, and I sold it. And I never looked back. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is quite frankly the worst game I've ever played. I wasted my money, my hopes were dashed. Now, it's time for you So, if you're a content creator, as I said before, please do a video response to this. I'd love to know your trash game. And even if you're not a content creator, then still, please, typey down below, let us know. What was your trash game? Tell me in the comments, boys and girls. Let's get a proper discussion going here. And while we're going, go type in that hashtag, support Scottish YouTubers. And of course, as always, I nae bother.